Welcome to qavvalidation.com. So in this video, the we'll start about a protractor end-to-end test. Now, what is exactly a protractor and how come it evolved more as compared to your Selenium? So we'll see a few recap of what Selenium is. So as you know, Selenium is basically testing the web applications that is rendering with respect to your HTML DOM actually. So if any website that is rendering with your HTML attributes or kind of the HTML elements, then we can automate that by using Selenium. But with upgrading the technology and upcoming new technologies, like let's say for AngularJS, so there were new attributes added as compared to your the normal HTML or any other framework on the web development. Okay, so I'm talking about AngularJS new attributes. It means that so if you know here, so if you have worked before on Selenium, then so this is a kind of a old project. I'm just taking this as an example. So let's say how we used to invoke the driver equal to new Chrome driver if you're working on Chrome, and then you used to put that driver.get and then the URL, and then you should do I mean you can identify by using the driver.find element. So driver.find element, and if you put by dot, then you will see there are a lot more options. But if you see here, class name, CSS selector, ID, link text, name, and your partial link text, tag name, XPath. So these are basically the what you call available options which you can identify the a particular web element. So here class name is nothing but your attribute. ID, it's an attribute. If your name, it's an attribute. So if you see your HTML structure, then you will see that input as a tag, and inside that you will have the attributes. But coming to the AngularJS world, so there are few more what you call attributes added with respect to your normal HTML DOM. So like you will have your ng model, ng repeater, ng binding. So these are basically what you call AngularJS specific what you call the locate attributes. So sometimes what happens, so if you inspect any element, there you won't get like class name or link text or kind of ID or name. You won't get these many attributes. So maybe let's say that it will be input and then ng binding equal to some what you call some value in that, and then that button will be there. Now in that case you have only two options left. One is your either you use for XPath or else you use CSS selector. So it's kind of a restricted to some of the locators. So either you use XPath or CSS selector. Now this is one demerit, and another demerit is that sometimes what happens, these AngularJS controls are dynamic in nature. So I mean there won't be kind of a hard code what you call value, but in case of normal HTML web development, there could be kind of a hard code drop down options, or else kind of many things will be kind of a what you call static content actually in that. Okay, but in case of AngularJS, there will be a kind of much code written inside each element, which will take some time, or it takes some time to what you call activate those options for that HTML element. Now what Selenium is not doing, that it cannot synchronize with those delays that the particular AngularJS elements takes to what you call to activate or to perform certain operations. You have still an workaround that you can put a explicit wait or else a fluent wait, and you can work on that. But let's say that on a page, on a web page, you have like a vast number of fields that which need kind of these weights. So Selenium, it's kind of difficult to what you call handle those back-end delays. Okay, so for that reason, what you call protractor came into the picture. Now what is exactly protractor? So if you see here, so here protractor, now this is one of the blog posts that I written I think 1 year back. So thought I can make a video on that, so that what you call you can see that, visualize the installation and what you call writing the test for the protractor. Okay, so here as you can see on this picture, Protractor is basically written or built on top of your WebDriver.js. So WebDriver.js is nothing but your JavaScript version of your Selenium. Like you have client libraries, right? Java client, that is for Java, Selenium with Java, Selenium with C Sharp. So this is same way it is built on top of the Selenium with JavaScript. Okay, and it is based on framework that is Jasmine, Mocha, and it's but a BDD framework, behavioral driven development, that is BDD. Okay, and you have this is again written on Node.js. So this is again one language, basically the JavaScript applications written on the Node.js. Okay, and for that, normally what happens, whatever the tools or the uh, software that is written in Node.js, that will be stored in a centralized package that we call it as a npm, that is Node Package Manager. Okay, so by using that npm, we can install the tools that are written in Node.js. Okay, so this is all about your Protractor build, and in that you need configuration.js. This is a JavaScript file. Now one thing to note it that in case of Selenium Java that I have shown sometime back in Eclipse, that is written on Java, but this is Protractor is basically supporting for out of box, it is supporting for JavaScript and TypeScript. So TypeScript again is a advanced version of your JavaScript. Okay, so it's basically more typing actually. So in case of JavaScript, you don't have the concept called typing, but here it is kind of what you call TypeScript is kind of more relating to you towards your programming language like your Java or C Sharp, but JavaScript is it's a scripting language. Okay, so you will need a configuration.js file where you will configure all your setup, and then your spec.js, that is nothing but your actual test script which you want to run it. Okay, so this is basically binding and making it as a Protractor as a whole. Now how does it works? So as you know, this is a WebDriver.js. So it will, what we will do, once you install the Protractor, there will be a WebDriver manager. So this is again a what you call a framework or a tool that will help to run your Selenium server. Okay, so and it will activate all your browser drivers that I mean it will help you to download those drivers, and it will initialize those drivers, and you should mention that in your configuration.js. We'll see that. So before running your test, you need to what do you call run your WebDriver manager, or you need to start the server and then run your test. Okay, so this is your internal thing, and then what it does, this web browser, this server, what it will do, by the help of these browser drivers, will talk to your what do you call the actual browsers, and it will send all the commands or the test script whatever you written, and then it will what you call request to the browser and get the response, and which you can test those responses and see if that actual and expected is similar or not. Okay, so that's all about your Protractor architecture, and we will see how to run a kind of the TypeScript, and then we will see how we can write the Protractor test by using your TypeScript. So first thing what we will do, we will create a folder on our drive. Okay, so let me open that, and so under here, so let's say that I'll create a folder, and let's say I will say it as a Protractor. Okay, Protractor, and then let's create here one Protractor demo. Okay, so I'm not going to what you call talk here about the theory part about this Protractor, how to do. So while showing you the installation and the setup, so we will discuss that parallelly. Okay, so now what I will do, so I'll open this particular folder in Visual Studio Code. Okay, so now Visual Studio Code is again one of the what you call product from the Microsoft. So it's basically an open source. Okay, so you can download from the Microsoft.com, or else you can simply say that Visual Studio Code download. Then depending on your operating system, you can download and install as usual. Okay, so what you will do, you will go to file, open, and then that empty folder whatever we created, that we will open it here. Okay, so here one thing is that, so as you have seen in our the protractor architecture, so you need few things, right? So for that what we will do, so configuration JS and your spec JS. So before to that, the initial installation is kind of what you call, so we will try to install this by using a terminal. Okay, so Visual Studio Code provides its own terminal actually, so you need not to even open another terminal to work on that. So you can even execute your script by using the inbuilt terminal. So for that what you need to do, so if you are using Windows, then you can use control tilt actually to open the terminal. In case of Mac, I guess it is option tilt. No, it's control tilt. Yes, so it's the same thing in Windows and Mac. Okay, so here I'm right now on this. So what I will do, the first thing, okay, before to that, you have to install one more thing. So as we have discussed, the Protractor is a Node.js program, and all the Node.js programs are binded together and put it in a Node package manager. That is nothing but your npm. Okay, so for that, so to what you call work with the npm, because whatever Node.js programs are there or the tools are there, to install that you need the npm command. So for that what you can do, you can go to any browser and you can say that so here what you can say, npm download or node.js download actually. So here what you can say, node.js download. So once you type this, then node.js.org. So here with respect to your what you call your operating system, you can download that. If it is Windows, then you can install the .msi, and if it is Mac, then just what you call unzip that file whatever you downloaded and install it, and it should be in your application folder. Okay, so once you have downloaded that, what you can do, you can go to your terminal and you can say npm-v. So it will give you the version of that node package manager which you installed. Okay, so by this, so what happened, your package manager is installed. So now by using npm, you can install any kind of node package, what you call tools or the softwares that you need. Okay, so in this video, I will show you one simplest way of installing the protractor, because protractor itself, it's not what you call coming in a single package actually. You have to download all the tools separately to make them work. Because sometimes it is confusing for a beginner that how to install all these things in a together. So I will try my best to say you that some easy ways to download that. Okay, so for that what we need, so we need a command npm init. Okay, and when you press enter, it will ask you certain questions that you need to answer it, or else you can leave as it is. So you can leave as it is, so no worries on that. If you want, you can give details, or else you can leave as it is. Okay, so now as soon as you pressed enter, you can see here one file got created, that is package.json. Now what is this? See, all these things nowadays with the portability and lightweight applications, so before we used to use notepad or else your xml, but now this json concept came. This is again javascript object notation, and it is one of the considered as what you call lighter version of your data transportation actually. So the same thing, the newer tools like Protractor or Cypress or whatever it is there, they use mostly JSON to configure your tests or configure your tools. Okay, so this is all about your package.json, how you will create it. So in this we will see further how we can put the details here, and then we can install the tools instead of separately install it. Okay, so let's keep it aside for now. Okay, now we will try to install the TypeScript and also Protractor with this. Okay, so what happens now, this package.json, we will what you call mention the tools that we need for our test script, and we'll just put a command which will install all your what you call tools that we need. Okay, so for that what I will do, so we need dependencies for that. Now if you have worked before on the Maven packages, you will see there will be some dependencies where you will use your pom.xml, and in that you will put all those dependencies, and which you will download from the Maven repository, and then once you do update Maven, it will download all those libraries for you. So the same concept. So instead of pom.xml, here we use package.json to download all the what you call libraries that we need to write the protractor script. Okay, so here I will add a few more what you call key value pair for this package.json. So let's get started. So here what I can do, I will write dependencies. Okay, so here you can see if I double quote and type something, it is automatically creating that. So dependencies, in the dependencies I will say that let's say that types, this is types are basically for the type scripting actually. So Jasmine, because I need Jasmine because Protractor is built on top of what you call by using Jasmine framework, and we will use the Jasmine framework to write our test script. Okay, so for that what I will do, so this is basically JSON is having key value pair. So key will be your this blue text, okay, and the value actually here you will provide, and then internally it will work how to download all those packages. Okay, so here I will use something, and I will try to put the latest version here, or the compatible version, that is. So I think it is 2.8.8 is latest. So if you're not sure what is the error here it is giving. Okay, so here every time you need to give a comma, because whenever you add a new key, you have to enter a comma before to that key. Okay, so now if you're not sure what is the latest version of this, what you can do, you can go to the web and you can say that Jasmine type package. So here you can see npmjs.com. So this is again similar to your Maven repository. So here you can see the latest version is 2.8.8. So here I'm showing you the easiest way to download that, or else what you can do, if you want to install it separately, all the packages, you can run this command. So what you can do, you can come to this terminal, and here you can say npm install, and you can copy paste this total line actually. Okay, so here you can copy paste, and if you enter it, that package will be installed. Okay, but instead of doing everything one by one, you can just write it here, and if you type a small command, then it will do it for you. Okay, that installation will be automatically done. Okay, so here hyphen hyphen save means it will save to your local, but there is again another command, save dev actually. So here if you go Jasmine, save dev. So save dev. So once you write this command, what it will do, it will save, or it will install that particular library, and it will add that what you call entry. It will make an entry into here. So now you might ask, think that what is the benefit of adding these dependencies here? So one thing is that one shot you can download all the files, and another thing. So let's say that. I written this script for some days, and then another team member came, or one of my friend came, who wanted this project. Now I'll give him this project, but let's say that if I don't have these dependencies, then he or she might not be sure that what kind of tools or the libraries that I need to run this test, or to add some more tests into that. So when you give this your project with this package.json, then what he will do that he or she can take your project with this package.json, and they can just type that particular command, that is npm install, and then it will install all those libraries with the compatible version that you have used to write your test script. So this is again one more benefit. So there are two benefits. One is you need not to write each and every libraries to install it. Another thing is that portability, so that the other team member or other guy will not face any problem to do that. Okay, so this is dependencies. Now there is again another thing is there, that is depth dependencies. Okay, so again put a comma here, sorry. it should be after this. Okay, so here I have only one entry, so I'm not giving any comma. And here you can come again, dev dependencies, and here what you can do, you can make some more entries. So I'll show you a few more. So types, then you need node. Okay, and the compatible version is sorry, this should be colon. So the key colon value, actually that one. So here, so there are different key combinations before giving your, what do you call, the version of that library. So you can go to the package.json in the Visual Studio Code site, and they have listed very clearly what is that each key means there. So you can go and verify there, or get to know what it is. Okay, so here the next thing, I will install Jasmine. And the one second. Okay, so here Jasmine is 3.1.0 is the latest version, and then I will install Protractor. So Protractor again, latest version is 5.3.2. Okay, and then the next thing is that TypeScript. So hopefully these many things will be sufficient to get started, but still we will see if some more tools needed later point of time. Okay, so here you have dependencies, you have dev dependencies to run your test, or to write your test script. Okay, now this script we will edit. Now note that this script, it's automatically created. Remember when we did npm init and then we entered everything without entering any values into that, but we will edit here something. So here what we will do that, so here there is a command that is a tsc. Tsc is nothing but a transcript. Now what it is, see, we are dealing with the TypeScript, but there is no direct method to run your TypeScript. Like for Java, what you do in Eclipse, you will right click on that test and you will say that run the Java application. Or else if it is Visual Studio, then there is a run button, you can run it. Or else if it is any unit test, you can just right click on that test and say that run selected test. But here there is no direct what you call method to run your TypeScript files. What you need to do, you need to convert it into JavaScript only. Then only JavaScript you can run by using node space whatever the file name .js. Then it will give you the output. Okay. So here what we will do, we will again write that command here. So script means a few commands we will write to run the tests. Okay, so tsc, so first thing again, it is a key pair. So key or value, whatever it is there, it should be within the double quote only. Okay, so here what I will say, tsc, and then I'll write one more thing here, then pre-test, and here I will write that actual command npm run tsc. Okay, and here the next thing is that my test. Okay, here one comma. Okay, now this test, what I will do here, I'll write a command protractor, sorry, this capital letter, protractor, and then okay, I'll show you this, so don't worry about that what it is. So output.js conf.js, I'll make you understand what is this at later point of time. Just note these commands that we have entered. Okay, so this is whole set which you need, okay, to run your test. Now let's keep this package.json aside. Okay, so now we have written this package.json. So now let's try to install these things. So npm install. Now once you do that, what this install command will do, it will install all the libraries that you mentioned under your dependencies and dev dependencies, like update maven package in pom.xml. Okay, so npm install and press enter. So it is giving me error. Now I did a mistake here. This should be in at the rate. Like here, all the types should be in at the rate. Okay. So let's save it and try to install again. So it seems it is installing all the libraries. There is one more problem here, that is protractor. Actually, it should be, the spelling has to be corrected, correct spelling, or else it won't install, because it will compare that key with the npm package and it will download those libraries. Okay, so here you can see there is a folder got created, that is node underscore modules under your workspace or the folder which you are working on right now. Now let's try to see quickly what exactly this node underscore modules looks like. So here there is a bin folder. Okay, here's the, remember I was telling a WebDriver hyphen manager, so this will talk to your what you call browser. I mean, with the help of your browser driver, it will talk to your actual browser to get the response from the browsers. Okay, and with this we should have installed by this time Protractor. So here you can see Protractor is installed, and then TypeScript also should be installed here. So here you can see the TypeScript. So inside this you have a tsc. Remember this tsc command to transpile the .ts file into js file. Okay, so now we will try to see how a TypeScript looks like and how to run that TypeScript. Okay, before getting into the protractor. So here again we need another what you call file like package.json. We need tsconfig.json file. So let's quickly go into the node modules. Node modules we have installed right now. Then TypeScript. Okay, and then you have bin, and then here tsc, then hyphen hyphen init. Remember there npm init, so which created your package.json and we have edited to our requirement. The same thing here, it is tsc hyphen hyphen init. Okay, so here tsconfig.json file got created. Let's see that. Yes, this is my ts.config. So there are so many things are there. So let's edit it with our requirement. Now what we are going to do. So whatever the ts files are there, we will convert that into our JS file. Okay, so remember in the package.json we have given this output JS. This is nothing but where exactly your TS file will go transfer into JS file. So we are giving a output folder. So there exactly the TS file, whatever converting into JS file, should reside in this folder. So here also we will mention that. So what we will do, go to this end, and here we will say that out directory. Out directory. So this is my command actually. So here what I will do, I'll put that. Okay, so here what I need to do, I need to put a comma here so that the error will go here. Now here I'll put exactly that folder name, this folder name. Okay, and here one more command, that is, let's do types. So here types and then colon, and here in square bracket I'll mention Jasmine and then node. Okay, fine. So that my, now here one more thing, what I told, once you run this command npm test, what it will do first, it will run this command pre-test. Okay, npm run tsc. Now what exactly tsc does, it will transpile your whatever the .ts files are there, convert it into .js file in your project actually. But you see here in this node modules here, there are so many .ts files are there. Now do we really want to convert that into JS file? No, our own script whatever we will write it, that only we need to convert into JS file only. So what we can do, in to not to create this ts file into JS, what we will do, we will exclude few of the folders that we don't need actually. So exclude here. So this is again a command which will exclude the converting of ts to a JS file. So here now you have to provide the folders, that is nothing but node modules. Okay, node modules, under that whatever files are there, we are not interested to do that. Even if you have your own ts files that you don't want to convert into JS file, you can write, you can exclude that by writing comma and again that folder name. Okay, under your project, then it won't transpile those ts files into JS file. So we are done with the package.json node module installation tsconfig.json. Okay, now let's see quickly how to run a TypeScript file. So what I will do, I'll create a new file here. So let's say that I will write here ts. Okay, ts is the extension of your what do you call Okay, I'm getting some error. Let me see that. Okay, leave it. We'll see it later if any errors we are getting. So sample TS and the extension is TS is nothing but TypeScript. Like for Java, it is JAVA. So here we will write a small what do you call code to run that. So here class, okay, class startup, some class name, and then here we will write public static, and there is no void here. I'll tell you what is exactly the void here means. Here just say main, okay, and here the void actually we mention in Java, right? The same thing here it is. So this is nothing but the typing actually in what do you call TypeScript, okay. So here I don't need this module, so let's delete this one. So here now this number is nothing but integer in Java. Okay, so in your what do you call Java, or in your C sharp, what do you need to do? Public static and then void integer or string. The same thing here. Int, instead of int you can mention it as a number actually here. Okay, and then what you can do here, write the script. So here console dot log, so it will print under your what you call output here. So let's say that first TypeScript code, okay. So here and then put a colon here, because the return type is there, so I can do here return 0, right, because I don't want to return anything here, okay. And then here what you can say, you can say that it should run from your startup, and then main method should run here. Okay, fine. Now, okay, so here one error is there, that it is saying that this exclude should not include here actually. So it should be outside. So what we will do, so what I will do, I'll put it in outside here. So this is again a set actually here. Up to here, this is related to your one set, and exclude should be outside your. Now the error should go. Let me clean this out so that we can confirm where exactly the error is there. Let's try to run this code. Okay, so tsc command is under your node modules, right? So let's go to the, if you want tsc command to run, so what you can do, you can directly install this as a global option, npm install -g and then TypeScript. Now what we'll be doing, your tsc command will become your the global command. So you need not to every time go to this node underscore modules and then your TypeScript, and then after this tsc, sorry, bin, and then tsc, and then here you need to run this command. So here your temp sample, let's see if it is, so it's throwing few errors. Let's see what is that. I think this should be small actually. Yes, see, so small mistake and it is doing a lot problem here. So let's run this. Okay, so as soon as you run this command, you will see there is a javascript equivalent javascript file got created. Now this is very easy to run a javascript file. So node, so here you can see node space sample ts dot js, that is nothing but your converted transcript or transpiled file of your .ts file. So here you can see the output, first TypeScript code which we mentioned here. Okay, so here you can see why I am using the TypeScript, because it's just this many lines only in the TypeScript. But if you see in case of your JavaScript, there is a lot more things are there, because there is no solid class or method concept in JavaScript. So they create it. I mean, you need to write it more number of code. Even I'm not that familiar with JavaScript, but I found TypeScript is quite interesting because it is closer to your programming language. So thought of working on this TypeScript. Okay, so this is the way to what do you call install and then write a what do you call TypeScript and then run it. Okay. So now we have set with the protractor what do you call installation, and then we have set all the required package.json and tsconfig.json file. Okay, now we'll see with the actual protractor test. Now for writing that, as you have seen in that protractor architecture picture, we need a configuration.js file and also a what do you call spec.js file. Now here JS we are not going to do, rather we will do a TS file. So now we will try to see how a configuration looks like. Okay, so let me create a file here, and let's give it as conf.ts. Okay, so now here I'll write few commands here. So this is kind of a importing statement. Okay, so protractor, you can see the intelligence, right, how it is working. Okay, and here I will say export. So import means I'm importing from somewhere, export means I need this config file. Internally protractor will use this configuration file to work on your browser, so that's why we are exporting it. Let is something kind of here where var, the same thing let actually. So here config, and then what I will say here, so I will use this config equal to, and we have to write few configurations. So first thing is that we have to mention the framework. What is the framework? Framework is my Jasmine. Okay, so here I will say Jasmine. Okay, now the next thing is that again comma. Okay, so here I don't need this colon, rather it should be comma, and then I will mention few capabilities. Okay, so capabilities like we have seen in your Selenium, that we have to give few things, that is browser name. Now by default it supports Chrome out of box, so we'll mention that, and we won't give any other options here, so let it be capabilities. And then we will mention the specs. Now remember the specs that we have said that the test cases will be in terms of the spec files. Okay, so now we have to specify where exactly. So here again one more comma, and specs are that we have to mention where exactly the test cases are residing. Okay, so we will give like this. So we'll say dot under the specs folder, so we will create a specs folder. Okay, in that, so what I will do here, before to that, let me create a specs folder. Okay, under this I will work on a what do you call project, that is a calculator, the AngularJS calculator. So I will say calculator.ts. I'm not writing anything for now, so just giving you the configuration only, how it should be. And here what I will say, calculator.js. Okay, now you might what do you call surprise that I have said that calculator.ts, but I'm mentioning here calculator.js. This is all magic of this tsconfig.json file, where it is this one. So it will create the what do you call .js files under this folder. So whatever I'm mentioning here, this spec, this is not under this your project, but it will create a folder output.js. So how it will look like, output.js slash specs slash the converted files, ts files, like that it will work. Okay, so once you run the test, you will get it more clear actually with those things. Okay, and then we have to provide one more option, that is Selenium address. Now this, basically what happens whenever you run the what do you call Selenium server, it will run under your port as 4444. Okay, so HTTP on your local host, because we are running this server on my local host, so I will write local host and then colon 1234. Okay, and then wd hub. Okay, because it's a server actually, so I have to mention as a hub. So now we are good with the configuration.ts file. So we have done the configuration that is required to run the test, and so the next thing is that we will write the actual test script. Okay, so we'll open the calculator.ts file. Now it is blank, so what I'm going to do, I'll use this application that is built on top of your AngularJS. So it's a sample application for, so for time being, to show how exactly we can run the protractor test, I will use this website. Okay, and inspect, then you can see. So here you can see ng model. Okay, first. So if you remember at the beginning of this video, I told the demerit of Selenium that driver dot find element by dot, if you put, you won't get this particular attribute, that is ng hyphen model. Okay, so which will provide. So this facility is provided by your protractor. That's why we are now learning the protractor. Okay, so here you can see ng model again. Okay, ng model here. So by using protractor we will try to implement this one. Okay, so and as I told you before that this protractor using Jasmine framework, so we will also use Jasmine framework. So for that what it is, so the first thing is that describe. Okay, now describe is a keyword in protractor which is kind of what do you call, it's kind of determining your test suite. Okay, so which will hold number of test cases for that. Okay, so it accepts two what do you call, two parameters. So let's say that test suite, I will say that calculator. Okay, calculator test, just put something, and then the next parameter is function. So so function here like this you can do, and then you will create a open brace. Okay, so here you need to write your test what you call test suite, and then test cases for that. Now how is a test case looks like? So it always starts with it block. Okay, so that is your describe block, and this is it block. Again, it also accepts two parameters. One is your what do you call, the description. Okay, kind of a string. So here I will tell that so check. Okay, so I can say launch URL check, and okay, so let's say that first test case is that if the URL is launched or not, and then the second parameter always will be your function only as your. So this is whole how exactly a test case looks like. Okay, single test case. So describe is your what you call test suite, and it is nothing but your test case. Here inside this you will write your test steps. Okay, so here one more thing. So let's say that you are using TestNG in your what do you call Selenium with Java. Something there it is before method, before class, after class. So the same thing here also we have something called as before each. So if you see here before all means so as you can see here it says that before all the functions it will run. Okay, so before each is nothing but if I write here before each, it accepts a parameter that is nothing but your function. So single parameter, there is no description for this. Okay, so here what you will do before each. Now what exactly this before each does? So before executing each block, it will execute this particular thing. So now here in this scenario I have only one each block, so it will only execute once. But let's say that I have another eight block here I have mentioned. So let's say that add two numbers, let's say that okay, two numbers. So here again function, and then you will okay like this. So it means that your before each will execute two times. Okay, so we'll try to see that. And like in Selenium we are using driver equal to new Firefox driver or new Chrome driver. So driver is nothing but your global object through which your browser can invoke. Here protractor provides something called as browser actually. So browser dot, so when you put browser dot, it will give you list of what do you call methods that are available with that browser object. So to invoke the browser, we have something called as a get, and here we will pass the URL. Now let's go into this and copy this. and here paste this one and then semicolon. Okay, so it will execute two times because I have two it blocks. Now the first it block, so each it block is a test case. It means that something we need to verify for that. So we can use something called as assertion, that is expect actually. So expect, and here this expect will do what exactly we will do. So here browser dot get URL, so get title maybe. Let's see if there is a get title is there. Yes, there is a get title. Okay, and this is a method, I suppose. Yeah, this is a method, and then dot. Okay, and here something called as a to contain here, to contain, and then the string. So let's say super. I, I don't know if it is capital or small. Let's see that. Okay, it's a capital so S. So first thing it will check if that URL is launched or not. So second thing we will add it. So here you can see browser is a global object. Describe is a test suite. Before each will run. Before each it block will run. And the second thing, now we will see how to identify the elements. Okay. So here, as we had already seen this inspect, here let's see what exactly this one. So here ng model first. So here let me put it side by side. So here it is ng model equal to first, and the second thing is that operator. So we'll leave it as it is for now, because for addition the default is plus. So the second thing here, now let's go here, and here you can see the second one is a second. Okay, so we'll try to do like this. So let's see element. So here element is again an object which will be we will use to identify the objects actually. Okay, the browser elements. So we will use element and then bracket it. So it is asking for a locator. Now for this locator, what you can do, by dot ng model. Let's see if it is ng model. That is nothing but by dot model is nothing but ng model. Okay, so by dot model, and then we have to pass that particular string, whatever it is there. See, you can see that it is saying the model or the string. You have to pass that value. That is nothing but your first. Okay, now here dot send keys, as we were doing in Selenium, we are doing here as well the same thing. So let's say that I will pass it as this one, and I'll copy the same thing, and here I will say this is second. Okay, so now the second thing is that we have to identify this go button. So here let's see which one is, yeah, here you can see. So here ID is there directly, so we can use ID, or else you can use even this ng click option as well. So let's go with the ID here. So element, then by ID. So here if you see that it will give you all the options that your Selenium is providing, like your class name, CSS, your ID, link text, model. So these are all extra options. Name is in Selenium. Okay, so here we will be using ID, and it should be go button. So here go button dot click, sorry, click, that's it. Okay, so let's see again if it is, yeah, okay, fine then. So now we will try to run it. Now to run it, so we are not worrying about how we can transpile it from the .ts file to .js, because we have already this package.json file that is working for us. Because here when I say tsc, and what it will do, it will transpile this calculator.ts file into js file, and where exactly it will convert, it will convert inside this output.js folder, because we have mentioned that already, the output folder, where it is in the tsconfig.js js file, json file. Okay, so now what we are doing now, this is what you call transpiling. Now how do you run that? By using your protractor, because this is not exactly a raw format of your what you call TypeScript, that you can say tsc space calculator.ts, and then JavaScript, the file will be generated, and node space, because it's not a node program, it's now a protractor actually. So you have to use something different actually. Now for that, what happens, the protractor provided something called as, so here if you see, protractor is the key and protractor space, then from where exactly that JS file is there. Remember I told that there is no option to directly run your TypeScript file. We have to convert it into JS file. Okay, so now everything is set. We have the test case, we have the package.json, we have the ts config, and then configuration.ts. So configuration and ts config and package.json, this is required for the first time setup. Then the rest thing you can just keep on creating your test scripts, and you can run it as many times as you want. Okay, so here I mentioned output.js slash conf.js. Okay, so in the conf.js we have mentioned that calculator.js. So let's say that you have a multiple number inside specs, you have let's say three or four .ts files. So what you can do, specs slash start.js. So all these JS files, whatever it will convert into the output.js file, everything it will run one by one. Okay, so you need not to worry about that, because I have only one test case or a test file, that's why I'm running like this. Okay, so what I will do now, go to this project folder in the terminal, and what you can do, npm test, you can say like this, and then try to run it. So it is saying, so tsc means it is converting. Okay, I got some error. Let's see what is that error. Okay, so here what it is telling, we don't have the WebDriver JS, WebDriver manager is not yet. So remember in the architecture I told that we have to run the server actually, the WebDriver server actually. So for that, what I'm going to do here, so WebDriver manager, where exactly it is, you can get it directly from this .bin folder. See here, you can get it. So what I can do, I can go to this folder, node module, then slash node modules. Okay, node modules slash dot bin. So what you can do, dot bin slash, then you have this WebDriver manager. Okay, so what you can do here, WebDriver. So for, if I'm running for the first time, right, so what I can do, WebDriver hyphen manager update. So what it will do, it will download all the required files that is to run for your browser. So as you can see, it is downloading your Gecko driver and your Chrome driver. Okay, so it will download all those drivers for you, and it will keep it in that folder. You need not to worry about that. So once the update is done, the next thing you have to do, start the server. Simple, in this way. So just one command, then it will say Selenium server is up and running on the port 4444. That is what we have set into this configuration.ts file. See here. Okay, so if you run this on your browser, you can see there WebDriver.js is running. So this is one command. Now do not close this terminal. Let it run so that your Selenium server is up and running. What you can do, you can notice here there is a plus icon here, new terminal. Open a new terminal, go here, and here what you can do, npm test. You can do like this. Now let's see if it is running or not. So protractor output, so now web browser is running. So let's see where it is. Okay, so got the problem, where exactly the problem is occurring. The problem was there that I had mentioned here dot dot slash node modules slash protractor. So it should be the protractor, that is the keyword from where I'm importing that. So now let's try to run. So I have cleared the terminal. So let's freshly npm and then test. Okay, now what it will do, it will transpile that from ts file to js file, and it will put under that output folder which I mentioned in the ts.config, and then it will run. And here what I did, so I'm giving this complete protractor path there. So where exactly the protractor exe or the command runner is there, that is under your node modules. And then if you go to your protractor here, under the bin there is a protractor. Okay, so like that. Now let's try to run this. So it's transpiling and then protractor conf.js it will do. Now let me minimize this. You can see that it is opening and it added that two numbers. It's so fast it did. So if you are, so here you can see, so there are two specs because I have two it blocks here, so 1 and 2, and it is telling there is no failures, so zero failures. It means that it ran two times. So here you can see the small dots, you can see green color. It means that two it blocks are running, or it ran as expected. So that is all about running your test. Okay, so now we have seen how to run this test. So even we can verify this second test case as well. So what you can do, expect, and here you will make it like this, element dot, so element of by dot xpath, because we want to. So here what you can do, so let's say that this 24 is there, that right, this result actually I want to print it, or I want to compare it. So here you can see how it is. So this is table, this is a table, under that there is a t body, and on the first row, and this is my third column. After adding two numbers we can compare this one as well. So what I can do quickly, I will write this XPath here. So here what you can do, inside double quote, so you can directly mention like this, table, under this you have this t body, under that you have tr1 because this is first row, under that it is third third column. Okay, so in that, and then dot, so there is something called as a to equal, and here I am expecting how much, so 12 plus 13, so this should be 25. Okay, and here it is throwing one error. Okay, element finder. So what you can do for that, you can mention like this, expect any, so it will whatever the result. Okay, here I have done it. I need to dot get text because I have to get that text right, and this is a method. Okay, so now what I can do here, I'll give some pause actually, browser dot sleep. There is a command sleep, so milliseconds. So what I will do, I'll put 3 seconds. So let me try to run this one and see how it is working. Okay, so I'll minimize this. Okay, it opened the browser. It will again open the browser. So 12 plus 13, 25. Wait for 3 seconds and then done. Now if you open here, okay, so it is telling it didn't, it is okay. Here I have done a mistake here. This should be like this. Okay, now try to run this one, because it should, the XPath should start always with double slash. Okay, so it will wait for 3 seconds and then it will compare. You can see there are two dots. It means that two specs were run properly and there are zero failures, and your expect condition become true. That's why it ran completely. So this is the way you can run your test and you can compare your actual with expected. So in upcoming videos we will see some more uses of protractor and how we can handle other types. So now here we have seen the text boxes and the buttons. We'll see some more options like drop downs or else check boxes, radio buttons. So these things how we can handle with your protractor. Okay, so thanks for watching and stay tuned with our upcoming videos, and do subscribe.